Welcome to the probably, I think easily so far, because it's the only episode of 2025 for the Skolcial Network, the biggest, the best, and also the biggest and best of the entire Vikings regular season because the number one seed, move my camera, is on the line this Sunday. Yes, that is my child's crib and Star Wars sign. Brev, how are you feeling about Sunday?
That's good. Why are you showing the people my bed? It's messed up.
Are you my baby?
Yeah.
I would.
No more
My kid,
stupid
my
questions
kid,
for the
my
rest of
kid's
the
a year
episode.
and a half and has hit the terrible twos early because he's a daycare kid. So right now, I would probably trade you, and you probably less than he does at this exact moment.
I, Maybe, hopefully. I don't know. I was cooking chicken and broccoli before we started. So,
Wow, dude, is it cutting season already in Virginia? I thought you were
wow, I
about to
just
like
sounded
be
like a
stuck.
New Year's resolution geek when
Yeah,
I
I was
said
gonna
that.
say, I was
I
like,
do it
dude, I
often.
I thought you were about to have a snowstorm. Shouldn't you have like just giant pots of chili and like pot roast and stuff like that to keep you
Yeah.
warm?
Oh, yeah. Quick sidebar. I went to nobody that watches the show probably knows what it is, but Food Lion, it's like a East Coast thing, I guess, grocery store. More kind of like the mid-Atlantic,
Sorry,
Southeast.
wait. You went to a place with lion in the name this week? I turned down eating at one of my favorite restaurants last night because it's Detroit style pizza, and this is the type of behavior that you're engaging in week 18.
Food Lion because we're gonna eat them up. And that place was a madhouse because if anybody doesn't know, and I'm gonna sound like a yuppie for saying we're about to get a foot of snow because this is a Minnesota viewership podcast, I guess. But we're about to get a foot of snow, and I've seen well, like it's not like we've never seen a ton of snow before, but like people don't really know how to deal with that here, even though we get it. So it was a madhouse. It was bad.
Speaking, and then we'll actually talk about the logistics of the game, about a madhouse and people buying things up quickly. Season ticket holders for the Vikings got a nice gift either last night or this morning, depending on when you got the email. I've actually helped to facilitate a couple deals on Twitter with some season ticket holders who aren't able to make it. But the Wilfs, I don't have a number on this, but they bought out tickets at Ford Field Sunday night and are reselling them to season ticket holders at true face value, which is super, super sick. I know at least 20 to 30 people I've seen that are going. Um, Look at the Wilfs, man. They've
That's
never done
insane.
anything like this.
Are
Do you think they
you
believe?
Yeah, they 1,000,000% because the Vikings are doing what the Wolves want. That's they're trying to win now. Like, if you're the Lions, are you allowed to say no to that? Or like somebody's
If the
buying it,
tickets are available, you cannot say no. You missed this whole thing last week. I had a tweet pop off where I said if you're a Viking season ticket holder and you're reselling your season tickets to Packer fans, you should have them revoked. And I had a lot of people trying to argue with me about like free market capitalism. Like I'm not a free market capitalism guy, but at the end of the day, when it comes to my market beliefs, I don't care when it comes to a football game. I want my fans in the stands being loud. Um, I People are saying, "Oh, you're a hypocrite for going on the road." I'm like, "No, I'm not blaming the fans." So in this case, I don't blame the fans. I can't believe there were that many tickets that had been marked up so much that Detroit fans couldn't buy them, and that the owners of an NFL team were like, "Here's a way to spend some money and then lose money because we're selling them back at face value just to get our fans in the stadium." I mean, you create these weird scenarios when that happens. I don't know how many. Like, do I think 50% of the stadium will be Vikings fans? Probably not. I think yesterday it was projected like only 4% would be. I think now we'll probably have like 20, maybe. I don't know. I have no gauge, but I mean, I know hundreds of people at least that I saw got that email.
shame on the Lions and Wilf's big Minnesota guys paying off US Bank early, buying pretty much basically buying Vikings fans ticket. Like I know the Vikings fans still have to buy them, but with how like the face value works and whatnot, like basically buying a ton of Vikings fans game tickets to the biggest regular season game in Vikings history just because it's right now. So
Yeah.
shout out Wills.
I mean, they've never done anything like this. And then again, like in most playoff years, we end up having like a meaningless week 18 or 17 game anyways. But like it's cool to see ownership invest in something that is so significant. Like the home field advantage in this playoffs. I think I saw something saying like the one seed has made the Super Bowl 49 times, the fifth seed has made it three.
Hmm.
And so, or won the Super Bowl, I think maybe it was. But with that in mind, like obviously like you and I are frauds because we said the best case possible scenario was a 12-win wild card team, and here we are, either going to be the number one seed. What the hell? Like genuinely, what the hell? Or the first 14-win wild card team in NFL history. Um, what would you say to August Brev to prepare him for this news?
Um, Other than that, he's extremely good looking. I I can't. I want to say, wow, you're such an idiot. How could you not believe in the Vikings? You dumb guy. But I can't. Like it was universally accepted for the most part that we're gonna be not that good. And it's one of those things where like you're not hating on the team. That's just where the team seemed to be at. And you also can't even say that the Vikings are overachieving this year. Like technically they are if you compare it to what we expected from them in the offseason, but like it's not 2022 overachieving where we were kind of like lying to ourselves thinking we're not frauds.
The
But like
analytics are on our side.
yeah, like this team is legitimately good. This team is legitimately a top 3, top 4 club in the NFL. So what I would say to August Brev, buckle up. You're not going to believe this. And I probably wouldn't believe January Brev if I was August Brev. I'd probably think he's like, what are we going 0-17? Did JJ
You know,
McCarthy die?
I
Like
think you would have shot him if he told you this. You would,
probably.
yeah. I was gonna say buckle up. Um, I think what I would tell myself in accordance with that is the Jason, and I'm talking about the Jason who sat here on this show and said, for the first time in my life, I'm excited to have a stress-free Viking season
Yeah.
because I said no matter what happens. And we were even writing that up till what, like a month ago?
Mm-hmm.
Like house money, house money, a month and a half ago. Really, I think after the whole AFC South like gauntlet whatever situation and Chicago and all that, I think we were like, okay, crap, like this is actually real. Um, but yeah, a month and a half ago, like pretty significantly through the season, we were still in the position of like house money, we can't be hurt, and now I'm gonna need to wear a diaper Sunday night. Like this isn't, and the crazy thing is like in a vacuum, this doesn't feel like 2017 still feels more significant because we've built that up as this magical thing for 7 years. Like we've relived the Minneapolis Miracle, and in reality, call it what it is. Without the miracle, that's still a really cool season, exceeding expectations. But it's not like if we lose that game to the Saints, we're not looking at that season that fondly whatsoever.
No.
We look at 2019. Hey, we won a playoff game on the road. We went into a tough New Orleans team. Kirk got his playoff win. Kyle Rudolph, great moment. You look at 2022, kind of a fluky season. But like, this is genuinely, since 2009, the best Vikings team we've gotten to watch. No one would have said that. No
Yeah.
one. And I am fully in the I am going to have my heart ripped out of my chest and set on fire and stomped into a million pieces if and when this thing ends the way we don't want it to.
Um yeah, I think the best way I can put it this season, shout out Ticonderoga, by the way. When's the last time anybody used one of these? Mine was today, first time since high school. Um, no free promo. The best way that I can kind of put it into, I was gonna say prescription, but like in a way I can perceive it. Viking seasons, there always feels like there's something missing, and you can always pinpoint it like, this season it's we are not good, so it's kind of missing that we're not doing better. That feels missing. Man, Kirk is really good this year and the defense is really bad. That feels missing. I have the same feeling about this team that something is missing, but when I do the math in my head with my Ticonderoga no free promo, the only thing that's missing is a Super Bowl trophy. That's what feels missing because of how good this team is. And
You've
I'm
been
a
sitting on that one.
no,
That's been stewing.
I swear I just came up with that. And I have been sitting on something else though. The Minnesota Vikings are winning the Super Bowl. I am narcissistic, Brev. I've been so negative about this team before, trusting Quasey, but not fully, pumping the brakes on Kevin O'Connell being the quarterback whisperer, saying Sam Darnold's going to have a natural regression, TJ Hawkinson being a almost waste of $70 million, which he's still in the team, by the way. I didn't know if you know that by his play. Um,
I have a lot to say about him in this episode. Not a
Good.
lot, but I
Hope he
have
shows
key
up.
things. I
Um,
There would be no better time or
very
opponent
true. Very
or
true.
location.
I am sitting on something, and I will not say why the Minnesota Vikings are winning the Super Bowl, but in February, when we do win the Super Bowl, I will reveal the secret to the world, and I
Are
will
you
tell
going?
everybody.
Are you? You're gonna tell me offline, but
No, I'm not.
are you going
No,
to the
I can't. I
parade?
can't tell anybody.
Are
I
you
literally can't tell anybody.
are you going to the parade?
No.
If we win the Super Bowl, you wouldn't even just go out for the parade, even
I
if I
mean,
covered
maybe.
hotel.
I'd have to see what my schedule's looking like.
You're a Minnesota Vikings fan. You're a
Uh-huh.
fan of the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
The Vikings who play in Minnesota in the
Yeah.
National Football League that plays football.
Uh-huh.
And you would have to check your schedule to
Yeah.
go to the Super Bowl parade for pause the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
I need to find a real Vikings fan as co-host because that
Well,
is
yeah. You check the
asinine. I
schedule,
have
check the
taken
bank
here's
account.
what I have done. Here's what I have done so far. I
Uh-huh.
have put in PTO for next Friday and next Monday in case
Uh-huh.
we are in the divisional round. I have put in what we call a personal significance day at work
Nice.
because it's
Wow.
auto approved 2 weeks ahead for the
Hmm.
Friday after in case we're in the divisional round because that Monday's a paid holiday. If we
Yeah.
win this week, if we win this week, I'm gonna switch that day, cancel the 2 days next week because I'm not gonna freaking use them. No need, and put it for the NFC Championship Monday.
Hmm.
If we make the NFC Championship game,
Hmm.
I am tentatively taking off the entire week after the Super Bowl so that
Hmm.
I can make the pilgrimage.
Right. So here's what I'll say. Actually, I'm not going to say that much because it sounds like the company that you work for is great and
Well,
fantastic.
I've been there 7 years. At one point,
Yeah.
I had 400 hours of PTO. I do not have
Yeah.
that anymore since having a child and a wife.
Right.
But I have stocked up quite a bit.
Yeah. So I'm just going to remain silent and not try to call out the company that currently employs me.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Really, truth to all rumors, your way out
Hmm.
of that one. All right.
Yeah.
We will figure it out. I will rescue you if we have to get you there the night before you call out sick, because technically you will be feeling ill, and then get you back. We will. Um,
I would need sick
I'm.
time for that.
This is the closest I felt to us winning a Super Bowl. I mean, 2009. I don't think anything can match that because it just felt like it was inevitable.
Yep.
Like it, even during the NFC Championship game, you knew shady stuff was going on. I wonder who was on that sideline.
Hmm.
um, and so weird. Wonder where that came out. But I just
Wait, what was the joke?
Dan Campbell.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Um, oh man, Lions Twitter is big mad about Kirby Joseph winning the fan vote and none of the players or coaches voting him in. So Kirby Joseph posted him holding a sign that said "Bleep Stafford" on it and deleted it within 10 minutes
Oh,
because he blames Matthew Stafford calling him dirty. Because that's why people think he's
yeah.
dirty.
We'll
Also,
see the billboard soon.
I do want to prop someone out real quick. This is important. I had an idea. Vikings, if you're not familiar, Vikings Twitter and Lions Twitter, especially since the Hawk injury, have been at each other's throats quite a bit. So I partnered with a Detroit Lions content creator called Devoted to Detroit. We are each putting up $200 for our teams. What that means is that if my Minnesota Vikings win Sunday night, I will be donating $200 and he will be donating $200 to the Minnesota Vikings Foundation. And if the Detroit Lions win Sunday night, I will be donating and he will be donating. We're both donating no matter what to the Detroit Lions Foundation. We've had a few people hop in, throwing 20, 30, $50 here or there. My favorite reply came from a Vikings fan saying, I am terrible at sports betting and also a Vikings fan. Can I put 100 on the Lions? That type of sacrifice is very important. So just know, despite the tension, and I'm going to get to some of that too. I have to share my Twitter stories with you, Brev, because you're
Yeah.
missing a lot this week.
No.
Um, there is good coming from it to some extent. So we'll raise a few $100s for some local Detroit or Minnesota community funds through the Vikings and Lions. I'll say this, so I'll update you on this, and then we'll talk game. So the new Lions uh, bit, and Packer fans kind of started doing this last week, is to start going at Vikings fans for playing the underdog card and building the rebuild gimmick, saying, "Oh, it was never a rebuild. You guys were never underdogs. You're 14-2. Nobody's doubting you." Um, so I just decided yesterday just to do a simple thing with that. Um, there was a friend named Ron who responded to one of my tweets where I said that a lot of people aren't giving us a chance to win, and he said no chance, just messing around with Darnold. 14 wins in a rebuild. I know Viking fans like to keep their expectations low to avoid getting hurt again, but stop making up these ridiculous narratives. So you know what I did, Brev? I
Hmm.
fact checked Ron, who previously tweeted Vikings contenders when they were plus 1,000 to win the division before the season is the switch up of the century. If Kirk couldn't get respect long term, why would Darnold? They're going to be 2022 at best all over. Vikings in the cellar for the next 5 years, Vikings in the cellars for the next 10 years. So basically, bodied him with his own words. Did it to another Lions account who then deleted the tweet, and then did it to another guy today because this is just funny that it was so predictable that they would have this stuff on their pages where they're just bashing the Vikings. Now that they're saying, oh, what do you mean nobody's giving you a chance? You aren't underdogs. You were never in a rebuild. What do you think, since you're not there to see it, of all of a sudden our rivals? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You guys were never slept on. You guys were never expected to be last. Like, but describe that coping in your opinion.
I mean, I'm not shocked. I'd understand what they're trying to say if it made any sense at all, but it doesn't. Where I'm confused is like I know it's coping, I know it's trying to deal with the fact that the Vikings in a rebuild year, what was supposed to be a rebuild year, are matching the Lions potentially winning the division and the greatest season of their lives. But like none of us predicted that. We were all in agreement. Like we agreed with them in the offseason, like, hey, the Vikings are probably not gonna be in the conversation in January. If they are, they'll be fighting for a wild card spot in the very last week of the season. So we all agreed. We all agreed in the offseason. The entire NFC North. Like we were like, yeah, no, yeah, the Vikings are probably, they're probably not gonna be that great. Like maybe they'll challenge the Bears for third. But unfortunately for the rest of the North, the Bears are still the Bears, and they have last. The Packers are doing kind of what I expected. The Lions are doing a little bit better than I expected. I still thought the Lions would win the division. I just thought they'd maybe be like 12, 13 wins instead of 14, 15. It's a shock to Vikings fan. Like PSA, you can clip this and use this in your arguments if you want. It's we're shocked too. Um,
Oh yeah.
it's not a switch up. It's going with what's happening. We are kind of on like even now, like we in the last week or two, just because we beat the Packers for the most part last Sunday on the Fox National Game of the Week. Like the last week is really the first time that media outlets are like, yeah, the Vikings are probably for real. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should probably pay attention to them.
Except
It,
Stephen A. Smith. Jesus Louise.
yeah, I love Stephen A. though. He's fine.
Did
He
you
gets
already
bad.
said yesterday?
No.
today? He said Darnold hasn't thrown for 300 in over a month.
Oh no.
And
Um,
he's done it twice. And then he also said today that Justin Jefferson's never played in a playoff atmosphere.
didn't Darnold throw for like 400?
He threw for 377, and a couple of weeks ago he threw for like 330.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. But yeah, like we're surprised too. The Vikings in this, like I know the Lions franchise was terrible for your entire lifetime, but you don't get to be the underdog when you're also now saying that you're the top dog. You guys were the underdog for so long. Now you want to be the top dog and not and tell other teams that they're not the underdog. No. For once in your life, you're not the underdog. For once in your life, the Lions are a good team.
Yeah.
So, yes, the Vikings technically are the underdog. If you're not an underdog and you had Super Bowl odds that were like the 25th greatest in the NFL at the start of the season, what are you? So, I, maybe simple math isn't like, I'm sure these guys are great guys in real life. I don't judge people's intelligence based off football conversation, but the math might not be all great there. Maybe they should post some billboards about that. Because it really is simple math because maybe not now because they are 14-2. The Vikings are a top dog in the NFL. To where we were at the beginning of the year, we were the underdog. That's just that simple. And I don't know if you miss being the underdog because I know how much Detroit Lions fans love to play the victim mentality on the rest of the NFL and shove it down everybody's throat. Times have changed. The Lions are the top dog right now. I can admit that.
Yeah. I think the big thing for them right now is the injuries, which makes sense, but it hasn't really cost them that much. I mean, you could say it did against Buffalo, but I think Buffalo is just Buffalo. Like they're like Josh Allen's been tearing people up even without weapons this year for the most part. Anzalone practiced yesterday in a cast and today in a cast. I've seen Lions fans interpret Dan Campbell's press conference today one of two ways, either saying, "Oh, he's good to go, he'll be out there," or saying, a lot of the beat writers are leaning towards I think they hold him off because he's only practiced for 2 days and they don't want to risk a refracture. It's only been 7 weeks. This is what happened to Gronk. I don't. I Anzalone being out there scares me because he wrecked last time, but him literally having an arm that could re-break at any second. Obviously, he's not going to be 100%, and it's going to impact his ability to like intercept or strip. I don't know. Maybe it'll help him strip the ball. You got a freaking battering ram on your arm. Vikings, Pat Jones and Fabian Moreau are out. So Dallas Turner is going to be expected to do a lot. Who do you think they bring up? I think this is an opportunity to bring up the idea I floated the other day. I know it's not a direct positional swap, but who do you think they bring up to fill that roster spot?
For Pat Jones,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you could just bring up like I know if you want to go edge for edge, like I guess is Gabe Murphy act? We still got him active, right? Or no?
Yeah, or Bo.
Or Bo? So it'd be Gabe or Bo. But I know who you think, so I'll let you.
Well, I'm just thinking, right? Like that's the traditional thing to do, edge for edge, right? And I think I think that's probably what they will do. I think the argument can be made, and this is all depending on what Flores is looking to do defensively. My scheme, honestly, would be basically have Cashman be a spy the entire damn game and either stop the run after 2 or 3 yards or mess with crosser routes. Like literally, it would be that no matter what anyone else is doing, I'd have Cashman in the middle of the field just stopping people. I know that's oversimplified, but literally that's how my Madden brain works.
Yep.
Um, there is an argument to be made. Hey, if you can, if you really want to let Dallas Turner run and just say go for it, do you want to bring in a guy like Leve Drake Rodriguez to filter in on obvious run plays and see if you can just take up space on that really dominant offensive line? He he's not there yet when it comes to like traditional pass rush wins, but he's still big. Like he requires attention.
Yep.
It could be something to throw as a rotational guy Detroit's line off their game and just if he can just bowl people over, I don't need him to get to the quarterback. If he can knock a couple guys off in the middle of stunts, whatever it is, I just kind of like the idea of causing chaos on the line if you can. Just a thought.
Yeah,
It's
I
weird.
mean,
I mean, whatever we've been doing against Ben Johnson hasn't been working. Like he's
yeah,
out of anyone, he's figured out Brian Flores. I'm expecting Flores to do something different, and if he doesn't win or lose, I'm going to have concern. Even if we somehow squeak out a win, I'm going to be concerned if he doesn't show new looks.
yeah, and I don't want them to stray like too far from what they've been doing, not just against like the Lions, but over the season because it's been working. But against the Lions, you do have to change it up a little bit. So I think we're gonna see things we haven't seen all year from Ben Johnson. We're gonna see things we haven't seen all year from Brian Flores. And then I believe NFL teams are very in the moment and they're not really thinking about the future that much, especially when they're in a big game like this one. But the likelihood, especially, well, I mean, really, either way, the likelihood is that the Vikings and Lions are going to meet again in the
Yes,
playoffs. Very likely in the divisional round, unless there's a huge upset in the wild card round. So, which I mean, the most likely thing that would throw off the Vikings going to Detroit or the Lions going back to Minnesota in the divisional round of the playoffs is the Packers upsetting the Eagles. Maybe the Commanders beating the Rams is a little bit more likely, but either way, like
I do
that.
not want us going to LA.
No, I don't. I mean, I'd feel good for Boy Math, even though Boy Math has led us astray. But um, either way, like you can't really think about that, and you just have to play this game and do what gets you the one seed, do what gets you home field advantage in that likely matchup with Detroit in the divisional round. And like
Oh
to
no.
Sunday night, all bets are off. Like
Some guy
it's
made a Vikings fan made a rap about us getting the one seed. We're officially cooked.
yeah, we're done. Who did it?
Jared Veggie.
Thanks a lot, Jared. Like we had it all. We had it all.
Oh no.
No,
I just popped up.
no, it's bad, isn't it?
It's very bad.
No.
Oh no.
Should we just end the show?
Oh, it was 18 hours ago. It has 3 likes. It doesn't have any bookmarks. I think the guy
Um,
has, yeah. No,
DM him.
it's,
DM him. Take it down, please.
I will, it's been up 18 hours. I haven't seen it. I think we're just going to let this thing go for the night.
You still put the energy out there,
I'm going to bookmark it and blame him entirely. And if we
Jared.
win, Jared. Oh, God. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. I knew you would have understand the severity of that decision this man made.
I don't even want to talk about the game anymore. I'm not even gonna watch.
Have you seen the Padres video from a few years ago? The Padre fans rapping on the news?
I don't think
I'm
so.
gonna have to send this to you. It's not. It's this guy's is nowhere near that bad, but
Okay.
it's all I can think of. And then they got cooked by the Dodgers. So we got 10 minutes left, or we got like 7 minutes left. Let's give our game predictions. I'll go over to you. What do you think? Kind of short and sweet version of like what happens in this game and what the final result is.
Boy math has led us astray, but boy math has kept us in check. Boy math has kept us successful, even though boy math has been wrong.
Oh, your boy
Boy
math
math,
might be where I'm going.
boy math, Lions 28, Vikings 27.
My boy math says the Lions have less players than they did last time. Their offensive line is healthy this time, which is a big deal, but they're missing Montgomery. They're missing multiple defensive starters, Carlton Davis for one, possibly Anzalone. And even if Anzalone plays, he's going to be limited in what he can do. Um, the Vikings have TJ Hawkinson, who is going to be motivated. He was chomping at the bit to get out there. Last time, Terry and Arnold came out and said their DBs match up well against the Vikings. They did not play TJ Hawkinson last time. And to whatever your point is, like money, whatever production we could talk about, TJ Hawkinson's been really clutch when we needed him these last few weeks and has taken advantage of the coverage on Addison and Jefferson. Like he just has. He hasn't gotten a touchdown, right? He's not getting hundreds of yards receiving, but you and I text back and forth. He has picked up, he has helped us move the ball more than and more consistently than Munt or Oliver could. Like just period. He's had some big plays. More consistently, I'd say, right? We have him back. Darnold is better. Cashman is back. And Reisner is now, I think, ranked in the top 5 or 10 in pass blocking in PFF. And we had Ingram playing in that game. My boy math says put this game on the moon, put this game in a Walmart parking lot. Vikings lost by 2 last time. Vikings should win this game. Whatever number that is. Their lost players are increase in roster strength, having Cashman and Hawk back. Reisner being really solid right now, even in the area we thought he'd be weak in. And Darnold getting over his fall off a cliff performance and coming back stronger than ever. Then you put that on the road, -3 points. I have Vikings by 4. Not sure what the score is. I'm going to go 38-34. That is my boy math. I track yours, and I every part of my soul is saying we're going to lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single part of my, and that's not me being pessimistic. That's just me saying like, oh God, I just if the NFL's rigged, boy God, when I watched the Monday Night Football game the other day, even the intro was basically a Detroit hype video. Like it is very clear the league loves the Detroit storyline. I don't blame them. Like it's an easy storyline to sell. But man, I just look at where these teams are and say the Vikings are going to have to be perfect on offense. They're going to have to not turn the ball over, and they're going to have to they cannot play at the same pace as the Lions because they have to if it's just quick rapid fire drives, the Lions are going to either keep pace or beat you. You have to be perfect on both sides of the ball to do that. If you can dominate turnovers and dominate time of possession and slow down the game and have successful plays like we saw a number of times to Akers, to Jones, where you're running play action and then throwing a screen and setting up a play that takes a few seconds to develop and the clock's still running. You can run the ball well. I think the Vikings win this game. But they can't play the Lions game. Because the Lions, I just think that pace, the Lions will be okay giving up points knowing that they can go out there and just score them quickly.
Boy math also tells us that we probably want to lose this game
Oh, this again.
if we want to play them, if we have to play them in the divisional round.
I will say that, but some team has to win 2 out of 3 either way. If that's the you can't beat a division opponent 3 times, that theory, which isn't true, but mathematically it is a high likelihood it's the case. I don't want to go back into I think home field advantage is going to be so essential in this playoff that I'm willing to run the risk that they trip up. Remember, they would likely go to LA, who is extra motivated against them. They just pissed off Matt Stafford. This time they're hosting the game. Or Tampa Bay, who is one of the only teams to beat them this year, and that was in Detroit, and now it would be at home. I think they might not even make it out the first round.
Spin zone. Imagine walking into Detroit and knocking them out of the playoffs. You know how cool that'd be? But then the NFC Championship game is probably in Philadelphia, so that would suck. But that could be a Super Bowl, is knocking them out of the playoffs on their field. And then they'd be really mad that we didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
With that, what I say 38-34, and you said 28-27 Detroit.
Yeah.
And I got the Vikes. We're gonna keep this bit up because everything you said is what we said last week. Our picks were pretty much the opposite last week, and we're hoping for the best. We will see you guys Monday for what is sure to be interesting. I will be either elated or I will be panicked because I will be booking last second travel to wherever the hell I would be going. But either way, I think it's important to say this. We can't. Don't let this Sunday take away from what this season has been. Unless we get blown out by like 3 scores, then maybe we can have an honest conversation about, oh boy, what just happened. Um, but the Vikings are going to live to play another day regardless,
No,
which is cool.
let it ruin the season. Let it ruin the season. Don't be a
Put your
loser.
heart into it. Be a
Let it
real
ruin the
fan.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you guys after Sunday night. We'll see you on the other side of what is, I think it's fair to say, Brev, the biggest regular season game in Vikings history.
Yeah, it's gonna really suck if the Lions win and then I lose power.
We'll see you guys early this week.